All right, so what we're going to do is translations, and then remember, the only guidance you get is the all blahs blah form, the some blahs blah. The rest just becomes an art. It's just a lot of practice, so that's what we're doing today. So again, keep in mind, what you see here is on average harder than what you'll see on the exam. I'll give you some clues when we go through it to give you an indication of what level it's at. So let's just start off. So Shari, first one. Every cube is to the left of every tet. Does that sound like all blahs blah or some blahs blah?
Are we supposed to open a new file?
Forget Montague's, I'll come back to that. After we do a couple, then I'll explain what the Montague sentence is about. It's guidance for you. I want you to try it at home.
So do we do it on that one?
You can, but I'm doing it blank just to show you what it's like from scratch. You got no guidance whatsoever.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we have
So
to do
is it all blahs blah or some blahs blah? Good, set up the form. If you're in doubt, I have it on the board. But you should try not to look at it because at this point it should be ingrained in your brain. Universal, A, parentheses, and what goes inside? No. Arrow, that's the form. If you don't get the form down, everything else falls apart. So make sure you hammer home the form. And now, what's your first blah in English? Every what? So just cube X is what in English? Just in English, what is it? Is what? No, the whole thing is what? That whole thought. There you go. That's the whole thought. Every tet. And now Brian. What was Brian? No, Brian's not there. So Kyle, you're up. To the left of every tet. Does that sound like all blahs blah or some blahs blah? Because it's every tet, right? Even though it's kind of reversed, but it's still the same form. So put another all blahs blah form in there. Can you use X? No, you have to use something else. What do you want? Sure, Y. Brackets the same, parentheses just helps to see better. Arrow. And now what's your first blah? Every what? So tet. Y. Good. Match it. Is what? And what remains? Is. And then now what's left of what? So you have to look back to the original. Good, because the X refers to the cubes. So the cubes are left of the tets. And what refers to the tets? Y. And that's how you do it. So it's an all blahs blah embedded within another all blahs blah. Yeah? You see that?
Yes.
Good. There it is. Now what I want you to do at home, for your sakes, because this is practice for the midterm, don't just enter in my answers and go home and do that. That's not going to help you out. Sorry, the final. That's not going to help you out for the test. They tell you open up, bless you, or Mr. Knight. They tell you to open up Montague sentences. So I have it right here. And you notice it's partly done for you. So it's like they've already filled in part of the all blahs blah forms, right? So they tell you all cubes are such that they are to the left of every tet. See how they've done that? So they're saying what you do is above, you delete the dashes and you translate the remaining portion. I've done it in full for you, and you guys should do this at home using this. But if you have doubts, you can go back to my file. Some of what I'm going to do is slightly different, equivalent, but slightly different, just to show you that there's another way to do this. We good? So for practice, you should try Montague's. If you get stuck, you can use my file as guidance, but try to do it on your own. And then what we're going to do for 11-17 is there's no Montagues. We're just going to do it just like we're doing now. We're just going to go at it straight. Okay? All right, here we go. 2. Shana. Every small cube is in back of a large cube. So is it all blahs blah or some blahs blah?
All.
Good. Give me the form.
AX, parentheses, arrow.
Arrow. Good. What's your first blah in English? Every what?
Cube.
No. Just in English. Every what?
Small cube.
There you go. Small cube is your first blah, right? So since it's complex, what do you need? Anytime it's complex, you're going to need bracket or parentheses. And now fill it in. Because you have to do that in order to keep the arrow as your main connective inside. So not just do small cube. So small X. I can't just stick on cube. What connective do I need? It's small. Or it's a cube. It's small arrow cube. It's small and a cube. What sounds right? And there you go. So that's how you know it's and when you just think about it, right? It's small and it's a
Cube.
cube. Then they're saying for everything, if it's a small cube, then it's what, Vincent? in English? Every small cube is
In back of a large cube.
in back of a large cube. And I'm doing this just as scratch work for you guys. I'm going to stop doing it once we move on. But look, I keep forgetting to take stop. You guys got to remind me. With me! Kinda. Okay, good. So, no. Okay, everyone, so kinda are there. Okay.
We're
So
on
slow it down just a
11:16,
little.
right?
Yes.
What?
We're on 11:16, right?
11:16, number 2.
Okay.
So, Vincent, in back of all large cube, what does that sound like? All blah blah, some blah blah, or all blah blah?
Some glass.
Good, because you're talking about the is some in this case, right? So, give me the form.
Or the y,
Yeah.
parentheses.
Good, and now fill it in. What's your something? That something is a
A large cube.
good. And then since that's complex, what do you need?
Over parentheses.
Parentheses. So I put parentheses there.
Cube y.
And then, sorry, give it to me.
Cube y.
Cube y and
Large y.
large y. And then, good, finish it up. You're almost there. Is what?
And half of the other end.
Yeah, is, what's the only thing remaining?
Back of.
There you go. And now what's in back of what? Hold on. Stretch it out. How do you know it's xy? What does x refer to?
Small cube.
The small cubes are in back of
Large cube.
the large cube, which is y. That's the way it works. So there it is. You can see why logic is thought to underpin some of how grammar works. Like when we say the dog's going to the store, she was thirsty, right? How do you know the she binds back to, refers back to the dog? We just naturally assume that, right? But the logic underlying that is that these kinds of things, variables, when I say the kid goes back to the parent, that's how you know what it refers to. You say there's something, you're describing it, and then you're adding on further description. So you got to keep that in mind. And you're understanding, when you do this, you're getting inside of the structure of the thoughts themselves. All right, 3. Maria, some cube is in front of every tet. So is it some blah blah or all blah blah?
Some blah is blah.
Good. So give me the form.
E, X, parentheses, and.
Good. And what's your first blah in English?
Cube,
Cube,
X.
X. And what's your second blah in English?
That
what?
one is some, sorry.
Just
some
read it out in
cube
English. Is.
Is in front of every text.
So I'm not going to write that down. In front of every tet. So Carrie, in front of every tet. Is that a some blah blah or all blah blah?
That is all blah blah.
Good. So give me the form.
That would be A, and I guess can you use Y?
Yeah, you can't use X, so anything but X.
So
You
Y?
use Z, and then give me the form. AY.
Then it would be the arrow.
Oh, what before that? I don't know if I wasn't listening.
Okay.
AY. What comes after the A? There's 3 components for all the forms.
Then a bracket,
Bracket, remember, parentheses, and then
and then the arrow.
arrow. So that's the form. You're saying A, bracket in the kids, and connect it up inside. And then now, what's your first blah? All what?
Tetrahedron.
So all tet, so tet,
So tet Y.
Y, R. The R is implicit there.
Would it be a cube at that point,
No,
or
we
would
did
it be
the sum cube right here.
then
So
front
what
of?
remains? There you go, front of. And now the question is, what's in front of what?
So X and Y.
Good, why? Because the X refers to
The cube.
so the sum cube is
And
in
then
front of,
Y is the tet.
Y is all the text. Okay, by the way, it makes sense? Like I said, it only makes sense, if it makes sense, that's a good sign. That's only
I
because
can't
you've been
believe I
putting in the
figured that
labor.
out.
If you don't put in the labor, when we do this, it makes no
It's like
sense.
on
Like I
paper, I get
said,
it, but I
if it
can't
starts to
remember.
make sense, it all comes together at once, you're like, yeah, it makes sense.
But
You don't know why. Your brain's been cooking it in the back. Your brain's already fried. Alright, so you notice, like, for instance, in 3, I've got all blahs blah embedded within a some blahs blah. We're going to mix and match the forms, so that's why the forms are so important, yeah? If you can start to see the forms, then it reduces the complexity tremendously. 4, all large cube is in front of all large cube is in front of a small cube. Stephanie, what form?
A.
Is that
All.
all or some?
All.
part. A large cube is in
So when you
front
say
of-
all large cube is, are
sorry,
you talking about
some.
all the
No,
cubes or some? That's how you, so
some.
you think about it.
Yeah.
If you're unsure, ask yourself, are they talking about everything or
Mhm.
just some of these things,
Yeah,
right? So
some.
some, so give me the form.
So some parentheses and
And what's your first law in English? Oh, what?
large cube,
Good, it's complex, what do you need?
bracket,
And then fill it in.
large x and cube
And
cube x.
x is what?
Is what?
Already, yeah, you're up. Is what?
Is in front of small cube.
Is in front of a small cube. What kind of form is that?
E
Good, it's a sum blah blah, so give me the form first. E.
E Y
Y.
parentheses.
I noticed this. I just noticed this now. Japanese speakers have a hard time saying parentheses.
Yeah.
Is that because the P?
First time I heard the words in
Japanese
here.
doesn't have the P, right? Per.
Yeah,
No,
kinda.
no parentheses. No per.
Parentheses. Maybe R.
Is it the R?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, R. No R.
Oh, L.
Is it
L.
L? I know.
It's the whole word.
It's the whole word?
Syntax.
No, it's actually the lack of that
That
morpheme.
sound, that morpheme.
You
yeah.
said it just fine. You said parentheses.
Yeah. So most Japanese speakers, they just go. Yeah, that's
Kakko.
fine.
You say kakko.
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 Kakko is parentheses?
Yeah.
You said
Kakko.
If I say kakko, I might start saying
K-A-K-K.
kakko.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay, go ahead. And then, form first.
And
Good. And then now, what's your something? That something is a
small cube.
small cube, so it's complex. What do you need?
Small Y.
No.
No. What? Cube Y. What?
It's complex, so since it's complex, meaning it's not just cube or small, it's small cube. So more, so what do you need? Anytime
Parentheses?
complex, you have further in this case with the
Whoa.
E,
Oh my
you're
God.
actually okay, you don't need it, but I want you guys to get into the habit of using that. For the simple reason that when you leave it out, it can get you in trouble, but if you always put it in, it's safe. Go ahead.
Small Y. Yeah. And cube Y.
And then finish it up, and it's
And front of XY.
good. Y. Y, X, Y.
Eh?
Why is it X, Y? Y, W-H-Y, is it X, letter Y?
Because the large, I'm sorry.
Because the X refers to the
Large X.
large cube
H cube.
is in front of
Small
the small
Y.
cube. Y refers now to the small cube. Okay, good. 5. Melinda. Nothing is larger than everything. Is that all blah blah or some blah blah?
All,
Not really.
some,
Not really.
none.
Not, there you go. It's none of the above. So here we go. How do I do nothing?
No
No.
thing.
So no
thing.
thing.
So
What is
EX.
thing?
No A,
No A is not everything.
no E.
No E, not something is. Because what's the opposite of something?
Nothing, no thing.
No,
No thing, nothing. So that's nothing is what?
nothing. It's larger than.
So I put
everything.
larger. What refers to the nothing?
X.
X. Larger than
Y.
Y. And what is Y supposed to refer to?
Everything.
How do I say
else.
everything? No, not everything else. Everything.
A,
A.
Y.
Why? This is not one of the forms. So think about it. Nothing is larger than every single object, right? Why? Because what does it include?
Itself.
So you can't be larger than yourself. Any object can't be larger than itself. So nothing is, in fact, larger than everything. This is considered to be, remember we talked about this before, logical truth. It has to be true no matter what. Think about its logic. Make sense?
Trying to make my seat higher. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. I
It
don't know if
makes
it
sense
adjusts.
when you do it,
No.
but then when I do it, I'm like, oh.
Well, that's why at home you're trying this on your own. You're using Montague's to guide you. Some of these will be different.
What is the plus when your sentence has
Plus means it's a sentence, but it cannot be evaluated. Star means that you don't even have a sentence
Why can it not?
because there's nothing in the world.
Oh, okay, so why do all my sentences have stars then?
Star means it's not a sentence.
Not properly
Plus
formed.
means it's a sentence, but you can't be evaluated. So that means you got something wrong with probably parentheses, almost always. So watch them carefully. Do the flashing thing. Flashing thing will tell you what matches with what. It's a good exercise to see that. Then you see what the scope is.
I don't think it's fitting.
Okay. Leona, 6. Every cube in front of every 10 is large. All blah is blah or some blah is blah. You see the form?
I've missed 2 days and lost.
Oh, well, I got on the board to help you out. All blah is blah. So you got the A parentheses, arrow, there you go. And what's your first blah in English? I'll help you out here. Every cube in front of every 10 is large. The is the arrow. So is what on the right side? No, is what on the right side? Up here. On the right side after the arrow is what? The arrow is the is. So is what? No, take a look.
Where are you at?
Number 6.
Is large.
Yeah, so the right side is just large X. And then what's on the left side in English, Rachel? What's your first blah? It's long. Your first blah. Every blah
Every cube.
is large.
Every cube. Oh,
Nope.
every tet is large.
Nope.
Cube in front of.
Every blah is large.
Wait, what number?
Number 6. Every, take a look. That's 6, right? When I read it out,
Every
every
tet.
blah is large. What's that blah? What's after every and before is?
Cube in front of.
In front of. What?
No, everything. Okay, look at the word every. Point your finger on it. Put your finger on every. Put your finger on is. Everyone should do this. This is good exercise. What's in between?
Cube in front of every
There you
tet.
go. That's the blah. When I say blah, it could be short, it could be long. The blah is just fill me in. So cube in front of every 10 is what you have to do now. It's complex. What do you need? Complex means you need?
A cube.
No, it means you need to partition it off.
Brackets.
Brackets, yes. And now you fill it in. It's a
Cube. X.
cube. Tell me more.
Tet.
No, I can't just stick it on. Tell me more means.
Oh, parent.
No,
Oh.
more connective.
And.
And it's,
Large.
no. The remaining portion is
In
after
front of.
cube, in front of.
Every tet.
Good, in front of every tet. Cody, how do I do in front of every tet?
Oh, wait.
Well, I'm coming back to you eventually.
No, wait. In front of every jet, so front of.
No,
No.
in front of every tet. What does that
Okay,
sound
so
like?
you do, A,
Good, it's an all blah is blah.
AY, then you do one bracket. Then you do.
Put parentheses just to mix them up, just to show you, because I don't want to put brackets next to brackets.
Yeah.
Parentheses next to parentheses. And then what goes inside?
Pet.
Nope.
Oh, you gotta do the arrow. first.
There you go. That's why I always remember the form. Now I fill it in. What are you talking about? All
Pet,
the
pet, pet Y.
tets are,
Front of.
and what's in front of what?
X, Y.
How do you know that?
Because it says on the cube in front of the.
So the cubes, X, are in front of
Y.
the tets. There it is, folks. That's a hard one.
Oh, I was so close. Okay, thanks.
Close is good.
Leave that under pressure, you have it.
All right, Ben.
Yes, indeed.
7. Everything to the right of all large cube is small. All blah is blah or some blah is blah?
All blah is
Good stuff. The form?
A, Y,
Okay.
parentheses, arrow, parentheses.
Good. And what's your first blah in English? It's long.
We're doing number 7.
Yeah, everything.
To the right of. Oh, I'm sorry, a large cube.
No. You had it right the first time. So what's your first blah? What's after everything?
The right of.
Keep going.
The right of a large cube.
That's how do you know you stop there?
But then is
There you go. So you go all the way up into the is or the are, whatever it is, right? The is the arrow. So do the right side first. Is what?
Small,
Go for the easy side, so just small.
X,
No. What did you
Y.
choose? Y. And then now, since the left side's complex, what do you need?
bracket,
Brackets. And then now Aaron, fill it in. Everything.
right up.
Nope. What? Read it out in English. What are you translating?
Everything to the right of a large cube is small.
There you go. To the right of all large cube. That's what you're doing. You did the everything is the AY. Now you're doing to the right of all large cube. What form is that? To the right of all large cube. Good. Some blah is blah. So E X. What goes inside? Nope. Yeah, and then now what are you talking about? What's that something? It's a
Cube.
not just a cube, but a
Large.
it's a large cube. So you need yes, and now fill it in. Large of? Get large. X. And cube X, so that says it's a large cube.
Come on,
And
baby.
lastly,
Come on,
Small.
baby.
no,
Right of.
right of. That's the remaining part. But what's right of what? Take a look at the sentence.
Really?
No. In English, what's to the right of what? No. Everything's right of the small cube, right? I'm sorry, everything's right of the large cube. So what's everything? No, what refers back to everything? AY, so Y is everything to the right of.
Bless
What
you.
refers to bless you? What's the large cube? There it is.
Yes!
That's a nasty one. Here we go, keep going. 8, Alexia. Oh, it's a nothing. Nothing in back of a cube and in front of a cube is large. Is that all blah is blah? Not really. Is it some blah is blah? Not really. This
No
is
blah is blah.
something else. Yeah, it's nothing.
Okay. So it's.
Well, the nothing is not nothing, the nothing is something, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not.
It makes sense if you think about it. You want an example?
No.
No. Okay, let's move on. You want an example? No. Who wants an example?
I do.
Just democratically.
I want a
Who doesn't
cookie.
want an example?
I don't care.
No one cares.
If I
right?
give you a cookie, will you give me an example?
I'll give you a quickie example.
Quickies are good.
I'll give
You should
oh,
say-
cookies!
I said cookies!
There, I was like, I don't know how to answer that, so I'll make it into a joke. Yeah, cookies.
What do you call it?
I said cookies.
It didn't sound like that to yourself. All right. A friend of mine had a girlfriend. The girlfriend claimed, "You don't got an ass. He's got no butt."
Ah, put
Right?
Okay.
So she's checking out his butt before they were dating. I mean, this is a true story. I mean, and it makes sense. It's a little bit funny, but and she's got, "You got no ass," and then he's like, "How do you know I got no ass?" Because there's nothing to look at. But you were checking it out, weren't you? I wasn't looking at it because there was nothing to look at. But how would you know there's nothing to look at if you didn't look at it in the first time and see that there's nothing to look at? That means your claim that there's nothing there is actually stemming from the fact that you looked and there's nothing there. So you were checking out my butt. And at that point, she was very upset. And they ended up, I guess they had a fight and they ended up going out after that. But the point here is, the nothing in that case is actually referring to something that's the nothing. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Here it is in logic. Whereas true nothing is, you
Non-existent.
can't even say that. You can't point to it. Total silence. So when we say nothing in logic, it's actually like you're describing something. It's, even though it's kind of strange. Think about it. Right.
I get it.
Moving on.
Thank
You
you.
get it? Yeah, I know, that's logic. The more you do this, the stranger it gets. 8, Alexia, you got time to sort of get yourself together. So how do I do nothing?
Okay, so not
Good.
EX.
And that's nothing, right? And then now, think of it as like something. Think of it almost like a some blah as well. So tell me about the nothing. Nothing.
Isn't back a cube.
So stop there. Nothing in back of a cube. So how do I do in back of a cube? Just that part. A cube. In back of a cube.
So
No, forget that.
Oh, E.
Good, this is the sum, all cube is sum cube, right? So EY, parentheses, and what is that something? It's a cube, cube Y, and what's in back of what?
Y is in that.
Where is it? Here. Good. How do you know it's not X, Y, or YX? Well, think about it. You're saying nothing, here's a cube, right? Nothing in back of a cube. So if I did X, Y, that would say,
The
okay,
cube is-
suppose I did YX. What is the Y
Are you
refer to?
having a matrix
cube.
moment where there is
Yeah.
a spoon but there is no spoon?
Yes, this is kind of a matrix moment.
Great.
So let's try it out. What is Y?
cube.
So if I did YX, I'd say the cube is in back,
Back of
of
nothing.
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 Versus if I did XY, the X is
Nothing.
nothing's in back of.
The cube.
cube.
So which one do you want?
Why?
Nothing in back of the
Nothing
cube.
that's in back of a cube. So
So
you want
X
to say,
first.
here's a cube, right? And nothing that's in back of it. So you want Y, nothing. Oh, sorry.
X first.
X first. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing that's in back of
Y.
The cube.
the cube. So far so good. And then keep going on, Rita.
And
So we did so far nothing in back of a cube. No. Just stop. I mean, look at the sentence. Nothing in back of a cube. And then continue on. What does it say? Okay, so now we do and in front of a cube.
So X, Y then.
So just and now the next part in front of a cube. What form is that? In front of a cube. Good, it's E. So before you do the parentheses, Y. So be sure, is it the same cube? It may be a separate cube, right? So I could use Y because it's separate, but let's just distinguish it. So Z. And then parentheses. And what is that something? It's a? No, it's a. It's in front of, but the is a. What's the object? It's a. So cube. Z. And now what's in front of what? Good, the nothing's in front of a separate, potentially separate cube, right? So what refers back to the nothing? X is the nothing in front of Z, this new cube. And then lastly is large. You want to finish it up, Jonathan? No, finish up, Rita. It's only one more part. No, it's like a sum plus blah. And large X. This will not be in the exam.
You didn't put the
Where's the S?
that
Where's
line
the
inside
is?
the last bracket where the parentheses are.
Because this large X refers to the nothing. This inside here refers to the cube.
ah,
So you're saying nothing
blah,
in
blah,
back
blah, blah,
of
blah,
a
blah.
cube. Take a look what I'm highlighting. Nothing in back of a cube and in front of a cube, potentially another cube, is
Is large, okay.
that's
okay.
the is
Okay.
large.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Does that make any sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
No? Yes? Who
You
wants to
group
make
it.
one example? Okay, let's move on.
Yes, we do.
Nothing in back of a cube and in front of a cube is large, right? Let's still talk about the theater. No one sitting in back of me and in front of me is large. What does that mean?
That
That's-
everyone behind you is either small or medium?
Well, no one sitting in back of me and in front of me.
So they have to be
So they're in-
small, medium.
Where are they? If they're not, no one who's sitting in back of me and in front of me is
They could be
large.
They're
beside
nowhere
you.
near you?
Well, they could be, right? But not necessarily. They're just, no one, I'm talking about no one in general. No one that's in back of me and in front of me is large. So they're all
Small.
medium or small, right? That's what it looks like. So if you imagine it, they're all like smaller people. You can see it fine. Make sense? Okay, 9. Here we go. Anything with nothing in back of it is a cube. Who's up? Okay, Sherry. No, Jonathan. Yeah, you can try to hide, but it's not going to work. Oh, good, okay, good guess. Is the anything talking about something or everything? The nothing comes afterwards.
So that would be all of them. Some of them.
So I was asked, are you talking about a couple of the things or everything as a in general? Everything, so it's an all blah as well, so give me the form. Arrow, good. And what's your first blah in English? So what's after the anything and before the is? No, 9. Everything between, wait, look at the anything and put your finger on the is. What's everything in between? There you go, that's your first blah. So this sounds hard, go to the other side. Is what? So what goes on the right side? Cube X. And then since the left side's complex, what do you need? Brackets. And then now, let's keep going. Maybe not, but you always do that in general. And then you keep going. Sherry. Nothing in back of it. Okay, break it down bit by bit. How do I do nothing? Not. No thing. So the not is the no. How do I do thing? E. And what? Can I use X?
Y.
Good. And nothing is?
In back.
In back of. And now the question is, what's in back of what? So nothing, anything with nothing in back of it. So if I do X, Y, what does the X refer to? Right here.
Everything. All of
Up here, up here, up here. What does the X refer to?
All?
There's nothing wrong with my hand.
The anything. Oh,
See
the
that?
all.
AX is the everything, right? So if I did XY, it'd be everything in back of, and what does the Y refer to? Nothing. There you go. So if I did XY, I would say anything in back of nothing. And if I did YX, that would say nothing in back of each object. So take, it says anyone, so think, imagine a movie theater again. Anyone with no one sitting behind them
There's no spoon.
is big. That means what? What does that theater look like?
In the back row.
They're in the back row and they're all a certain size, right? No, anyone with no, yeah, anyone who has no one sitting behind them, they're the big people, right? Which would make sense. So YX is what you want. Y for nothing in back of X, each object, or everything, or anything. Okay, there it is. All right, 10, you guys try it right now. 10 is medium hard.
Every dodec.
I'll do it, but you guys try it out, talk it out, go solo, your choice.
Every dodec
I cannot
is
watch it
smaller
because I
than
can't move my notebook. Everything. Number 10, right? Every dodec is smaller than
every is
some
every
Every all blah is blah. Or you can't really do it that way, but dodec is smaller than
every is all, right? So this is the all, so this would be the arrow. So the second part would be more complicated.
That's the arrow. So the right side is complex.
So the AX
Smaller
and
than some
comma
ten.
dodec. Is that what you got? They're like. That's some blah, isn't it? So you go here. You go here. You are
You gotta have some blah there. Yeah.
Got quiet, does that mean you guys got it?
no.
Okay, let me give you the form.
No, but see, some blah, so if all blah is blah, it's all and then an arrow, and then some blah, it's all and then an arrow.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I see it. I think maybe you're missing a
But
parentheses.
yeah,
That's why I was-
parentheses and brackets
Yeah.
throw me off, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna put.
But yeah, you got, that looks right.
There's the form if you need it. Or you can try it
Okay,
your own.
Yeah, that's what you have.
alright,
Remember, brackets are same as parentheses. You don't have to use brackets, they just help to see. That's what I mean by form. What is its skeletal
Yeah.
structure?
And then live.
Bless you. What did they say for bless you in other languages? No, I know, that was the one that makes most sense, but like in Chinese or Japanese?
Hola.
Hola?
Hola in Hawaiian.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hola, O-L-A?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Life. Ah, okay. So only only English has some strange, everyone else says life, right? English.
You
bless
got it
you.
right.
Yep.
Good? You guys ready? Wait. We're gonna do more of these, so it's not like the only practice.
I will embrace this moment.
Yay. Actually, I like this stuff. I do.
As soon as he got to the da-da-da, unless I use my spoon, got it.
This is actually much easier for me to prove. How about you?
Can I cut half of 17?
But we're going to proof right now.
No.
We choose
No.
5
Oh.
what to do.
And you know these aren't gonna be
It's not a
pretty proof.
democracy in that sense.
I gotta.
It's not.
I'm not.
You can do half if you want, but there will be a
That'll be
penalty.
my homework for the weekend.
When you do what?
Because I'm not like 100%.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Just keep
I just
doing it
gotta
over and
listen
over.
to
It's the regime of
Yeah.
logic. It has
Your phone's
no
about to fall in your back pocket.
Thank you.
It is universally fair because it's hard on everyone.
That's what I
We
do.
good?
I just keep doing it over and over.
Yeah?
I didn't have.
Okay, what do you got? Fill it in. Who's up? Kyle. Yeah, I'm calling it myself. I will answer it. See, Kyle could have turned that back on me and says, go ahead. That would have been very funny. First time I heard that, but there went the joke.
You're like, what?
Yeah, Dodec X is some blah blah, so. Or you could do smaller, but what it helps to think of the subject. The something is a what? Somewhat. Think of like when you say something, you're describing a thing, right? So what is that something? It's some tet. So tet, y, and then is, and now what's the description is? And there's the smaller. And what's smaller than what? Yeah, the dodec is smaller than y, the tet. Who got it? Got close. All right. No. Okay. We're gonna try more. So there it is. Oh, that picture time. Before I forget.
Hello.
Hello. I have a sense coming to me. You like no.
Number 9.
Oh,
After,
9.
Yeah, number 9. After not E, no need a parenthesis.
You can, but no need
No
because it's
need.
simple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You only use parentheses when there's connectives. I dropped it just to make it look better, but you can put it in there. That's okay. You guys ready?
So that's all we need to submit for 11, 16?
Yep. There's 10. Only 10. You want more?
No.
Yes.
The is an arrow, and the
No,
R
it
is
depends
a.
on what the structure of the sentence is.
Oh, okay.
So if it's an
It's
all
not-
blah is blah,
Yeah.
or every blah is
yeah.
blah, all blah, are blah, it doesn't matter, the is or the are, then it's the arrow.
Okay.
If it's a some blah is blah, the
Then
is
it's-
becomes an N.
Yeah, okay.